It seems like every day there's another story that makes me say, what? 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 Just like that. What? And this is one of them. This is one of those stories where you have to ask yourself, what happened to doctors? What happened to the AMA? What happened to first do no harm? Whatever happened with this? This is a story that is beyond incredible. The AMA is now under some fire for floating the idea, for encouraging the idea of taxpayer-funded uterus transplants for biological men. Biological men. Not women who have lost uterus because of cancer or were born without, but no. For a man who, and by the way, not chromosomally, I don't want to use the word hermaphroditic, but not suffering or having a chromosomal anomaly of sorts, but a biological man. I mean, you should just stop the video over there and say, thank you, good night. But there's more to it, which I will explain to you right now. But first, let me ask you, of course, as usual, to like this video, subscribe to our channel, hit that little bell so you're notified of new videos and the like. But first, more importantly, you must listen to these incredible words from our sponsor. The US dollar has lost 85% of its value since the 70s, when the dollar decoupled from gold, and the government seems bent on continuing the tradition. From now until after the next elections, the government can print as much money as they want. And the last time they did that, inflation went up 9%. This means one thing: the security of your future and your family's future is all in your hands. Make sure you freeze the value of your wealth that you are holding. Invest in gold with Noble Gold Investments. Gold is the one asset that has proven to withstand recession, inflation, and just about all economic threats. Noble Gold Investments is here to help you. If you want to invest in gold, you will also get a 24-karat, quarter-ounce gold standard coin for free. So go to noblegoldinvestments.com right now. noblegoldinvestments.com. Tell them Lionel sent you. This is the only gold company I trust. And remember, there's always a risk of investment, and there's no guarantee of any kind. Okay, let's start with this one. Ready for this? Critics and people with rational sensibilities are now asking the American Medical Association, what were they thinking for this, quote, activist position after it suggested and floated the idea of taxpayers, you and me, footing the bill, the hefty bill, 300,000, who knows, for biological men who are seeking a uterus transplant. Biological men, 100% American hombre like me saying, hear me out. I think I want to get a uterus and carry a baby to term in the pelvic area. Now, this has nothing to do with ideas and thoughts regarding transgenders. This has nothing to do with being a transphobic. But instead of putting research money and attention into dealing with the complications that necessarily surround and are a part of gender affirming treatment, not to mention the psychological problems, what's interesting about this is the AMA is choosing to focus on what is called really an activist position, rather, again, than funding research that is really needed regarding transgender medicine. Marty McCary has been absolutely brilliant on this subject, and recently, in fact, I'm going to cite it on a Fox News edition. He said, what's the regret rate after transition surgery? What's the long-term complications? The long-term complication rate of hormones. These are the questions that he asks. See, what he and others are pointing out is that these studies are done instead of funding studies that are actually needed. They've taken basically an activist position. And that's a critical word, the activist, not necessarily somebody or a group of people who are looking specifically to determine whether this makes net sense or not. And the problem is that, again, you have to ask yourself this question. This is where, let me just stop right there, because I'm sensing in my own sense the problem of this. Are these issues that normally are the best attempted, the best addressed, the best dealt with by members of what I thought was this august organization, especially now, who, by the way, completely ignored us 100% during COVID, completely looked the other way, just didn't care at all, signed off and said, whatever. But we're talking about something right now, and there is something to this notion of transitional or transplants. But this is not using the notion of triage with the long-term effects, the issues that affect healthcare for everybody, rising healthcare costs, dealing perhaps maybe with diseases that affect. Do you know that every single year, estimates say about 750,000 or so people die from heart disease? Everyone, male, female, trans, straight, everybody. And much of that could be prevented with lifestyle changes and others. Diabetes, hypertension, things that affect people on a day-to-day basis. Why are there suicide rates going through the roof? What will be the effect ultimately of all of these young people frying and scrambling their brains on vaping and whatever? Do you mean to tell me that as America is strapped, unable to deal with just the day-to-day life, where credit card rates and credit card bills and credit card what am I trying to say, run-ups, and it's through the roof, when we are on the verge of societal collapse, when we're just getting off of this? And by the way, let me tell you something, the word is rumbling, word on the street, that you're going to see a repeat coming back to, this is what people are suggesting, listen carefully, on planes and flights, masks and masking again and new strains. What is the AMA and other groups working? Are they finally going to figure out this stranglehold of the CDC? America has lost complete and total faith in its medical system by virtue of what we went through with COVID. Now, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm not a denier. No. I'm not Bobby Kennedy, wherever he is. I don't know where he went. But uterine, you want taxpayers to pay $300 up to, who knows, for a uterus transplant in a man? And let's see what happens, and the follow-up and the what? You mean to tell me that with all that can be done right now, with all of the problems, shall I go through it? And the number of people who are unable to pay for, to enjoy regular medical care, while illegal aliens pour over the border and are handed money. You mean to tell me that with the money that we've had to also spend as taxpayers to support proxy wars in Russia? I mean, is this somebody's going to have to wake me up one day and say, this is a joke. We were just kidding. Now, listen, let me explain something. I want to go on the record here. Not that anybody's asking me, but I'm going to say it. I do believe that there are people called transgender and the like who are, in essence, as they say, born in the wrong body. I think this has existed since day one. The percentage, I don't know. I don't think it's a lot, but I don't think it's impossible. Everybody deserves the same rights, irrespective of what they are given with genetically, chromosomally, genitally, or psychologically. That's fine. But this is insane. And they're doing it for reasons that no one can figure out. Who is demanding this? Where is it? Do you mean to tell me that for years doctors have said, oh, if only we had more research done on transplanting uteruses into biological men? You have no idea the calls I get every day. The phone's ringing off the hook. If nobody's asking for this. This is activism. Somebody is. Is this like that human rights the campaign with CEI ratings? Like, is this the self-immolation, the self-destruction of the AMA, like Anheuser-Busch did with Dylan Mulvaney? Is that what, like, Target stores? Is that it? Are you going to tell me that what BlackRock and Vanguard are somehow putting the squeeze on the AMA to collapse and destroy whatever respectability it once had? None of this makes any sense. So please find out what's going on. Thank you for your attention. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And don't forget our great and our wonderful and our terrific sponsor. We thank you so very much. So very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And now it is time, my friend, for you, as we always say, for you to comment as you see fit.